The first thing to do here is just remember this is supposed to be a hard question. This is number 30 out of 30 multiple choice, so it's supposed to be very hard. And we know from experience that percentages questions on the SAT are also just by their nature very difficult. And so there's a lot of room for error here. The most important thing I think for everyone is no matter how you do this, show your work. You're going to need the calculator for this question, but I wouldn't be doing my work in the calculator. As much as possible, you want to be showing what you're thinking on the page so you can kind of check yourself as you go. The way I'm going to solve this is I'm going to use my open formula, which I've talked about for other questions in this test and other videos that involve percentages. It's the formula that I put in my study guide. The open formula is a way to keep track of percentages questions for the SAT. It is something I made up, but it is important because of the way that the SAT asks about percentages. This helps me keep track of it all. So specifically when I'm talking about things like percentage increase, this formula is going to look like this. The O stands for the original value. The P stands for the percentage, but we're talking about a percent increase or decrease, so it's 1 plus or minus the percentage. The 1 is important. E stands for equals, and then N stands for the new value. So now I'm going to insert what I know. Well, they're telling me I need to know the percent increase from 2012 to 2013 so that I can kind of figure out what comes next with 2014. So let's deal with that first. So the original value is the 2012, that's 5,600. I don't know the P, but I do know it's an increase, so let's make it really clear that it's going to be a plus percentage. And then the new is 5,880 because that's 2013. So now I'm just solving for P. So this is something you might kind of know in your head pretty quickly just because of your comfort with percentages, but I like to play it safe because I just don't trust myself with percentages. It's very easy to mess up. So 1.05, subtract the 1, and then we get the P is equal to 0.05, which remember is 5%. In this formula and in most mathematics, percentages are pretty much always written as a decimal, and so the 0.05 represents a percentage of 5%, and the reason that the 1 is there is that represents 100%, right? So we have 100% of the subscriptions from 2012 plus an additional 5% to get us the number from 2013. So that's something. Well, not everything, right? Because they're saying that the percent increase would be double the percent from 2013 to 2014. So if it's 5% from here to here, then in order to get to 2014, it's going to be half of that, right? We're reversing that doubling. So that's going to be 2.5%. And now they want to know, well, what is it in 2014? Well, we can use the exact same formula. So let me scroll a little bit here. So in this time, though, we're going to use the original is now the 2013 number, so that's 5,880. Now we have the percentage, right? So it's 1 plus 0.025. That's 2.5% written as a decimal. And that equals the new value, which is the 2014 value. So 5,880 times 1.025, and calculator time, 5,880 times 1.025 is 6,027, which is choice B, which is the answer. Okay, so there you go. Again, there are other ways to do it. Different ways that people learn percentages are going to work here, and if it worked for you, that's fine. My advice with this specific formula is that I use it because I know the ways the SAT tries to trick us. The other thing though is you don't want to get this answer too quickly. And so what I mean by that is if you got one of these wrong answers, most of them come from doing something kind of lazy, right? Like noticing, for example, that the difference between 5,600 and 5,880 is 280. And so if you said, oh, well, half of that would be 140, and then 5,880 plus 140, that's what, 60/20, which is an answer. That's too easy. There's no way that the hardest question on the section is going to be that simple where you just like add two numbers together, right? So that's the kind of thing that you want to avoid. If you didn't know what to do, but you saw yourself kind of lazily doing something, that might be a signal to cross that answer out and then to just guess randomly from what's left. You can absolutely use this kind of like the tricks that the SAT is setting for you, the traps that they're setting for you. You can use them to your advantage. Like, you might not know how to get the right answer, but if you can see the trap, you might then be able to eliminate that wrong answer and guess a little bit more intelligently from what's left. Tough question, tough section, do the best you can. But regardless, remember, there's some easy questions coming in the grid-ins, so make sure you don't waste too much time on this. You want to lock in the next points on 31, 32, the easy ones that are coming. So pay attention to where you are, pay attention to the difficulty, use your time efficiently.